following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop.
Hey y'all, Jacob Ledrup here.
Hey guys, Chuck Ritchie here, formerly of Bowl TV.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Schaefer of track staff at Valley Bowling Center in Waverly, New York.
And you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Yo, the boys from Straight Up 5, Rad Rob, Dr Ocho, and of course JP Jr.
As you know, JP Jr. used to be introduced as the sexiest man in bowling and now the world. But he doesn't have the best hair in the world. I do. Sorry, bud, but you know the deal. Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation.
Strike, and they claim it. Similarly does it.
So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Rad Rob, Rob Francois. Dr Ocho. Dr Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
He is incomparable, isn't he? Johnny P, such a special guy. What's going on, everybody? Thought I'd do something different than my normal, hey guys, welcome back to... After 162 episodes, I mean, like, really? That's all you bring to the table? You know me, I'm Rad Rod. This is episode number 162. I love Popeyes, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's see who we got here in the chat. We got Frozen Banana Edits. Oh, it's Julian. Hello, Julian. Welcome to the show. First time I think I've seen you in chat. I'm not sure. Frank Frodo, what's going on? What's going on? Sorry we're late. We had some computer issues. I won't say which one of our crew, Johnny, had issues, but, you know, it's fine, Johnny. Let's see. Billy M's in the house. What's going on, brother? Pete Cow. What's up, dude? Crambone. I gotta learn that song. I should put that on my little roadcaster here. Alex Bermudez. Good evening from the Stanislaus County Fair. My daughter has her sheep showmanship event. Say that 5 times fast. In 30 minutes, we'll be tuning in then. Shit, no, don't do it. Sheep showmanship. See, fucked it up already. Alex also says 162 episodes. That's a full baseball season. That's you know what? That's a fantastic point. Carl Buckley's in the house. Good evening. Good evening. So where the hell is Nico? Nico's usually giving me shit about being late. It's funny. It's odd. Let's bring in my first co-host. He is the man with the golden mask. Straight out of Ochoville. The resident doctor and the resident house hack from Howell Lanes. The one and only Dr. Sweaty Ocho. What's going on? Oh, how come you're not in the pool, bro? You haven't done a live stream in the pool this year.
It's baby steps. I jumped in, but I'm back out here, and it's
almost August.
I want to call it. He did right. Rainbow. No, it's lurky. It's crazy here in Ochoville. Last week I got rained on. I jumped in right before just to cool off, and obviously I'm too damn hot, so I made the pool like a volcano, hot lava, and I'm sweating again. So it don't matter. It don't matter. When I sweat, things grow. It's like I'd say fertilizer, but then I can make fun of myself. But
that's good for your wife, I guess. Depends. I mean,
all right, go ahead. Go ahead. Bring it in, Rob. Way to go. Way to go, buddy.
Looks windy there, too. I mean, it looks like there's at least a breeze.
I created some wind because I'm sweating too much. What can Ocho do?
What in the... That's a very interesting...
That's not sweat. That's because I just got out of the pool, and I don't want to, we get too many...
Oh, yeah, no. I get it. No, it's fine.
Me being topless fine. And all.
I haven't seen you topless this year. No one. That's...
Still early.
It's fine. It's almost August, so you got to get on it. Anyway, let's bring in the host of the most. He is the sexiest man in the world, Mr. Johnny Petraglia Jr. Sorry, I gave it all up for Ocho. Johnny, what's going on, brother?
You know what? That's perfectly fine. I feel like he deserved it more so. But speaking of, I have a couple things to talk about real quick before we get into today's show. Number one, because Carl Buckley's already here, special thanks to Carl and Sarah for making these fabulous. I don't know if you guys can see it, and it's probably backwards, but it says straight up 5 ball cups from from their 3D printer. Look at this assortment of color schemes here. How great are these?
That's badass. I need a couple.
And I could put them on my balls or anyone's balls.
You could put your balls in on anything you want to do with them. These are excellent. So special thanks to Carl and Sarah for these bad boys.
Now I get why you went to the side.
Yeah.
Well, you
see. No, I told you because of obviously one of us had computer issues and it wasn't me. But
right.
Anyway, no. The second thing I wanted to mention is I'm coming to you live from my lady Jennifer's basement right now. And she lives approximately 47 minutes from where I am in the afternoons where I work. And today I really got the full sniff of the Wednesday night, 4 o'clock midweek rush hour driving from Old Bridge up to Lake Opatcong. And a 48-minute ride taking 287 and 78 and 80. My God, at first I thought I wasn't even going to make it here for 8 o'clock. It was the most miserable 2 hours of my life, and I forgot how much I absolutely hated rush hour traffic.
Yeah.
So every time I see everybody miserable and pissed on the roads, it's completely understandable if you have to do that every fucking day. So God
like
bless
an
you guys.
Office Space.
Oh, is this gonna leave a crick in my neck if I stay like this the whole show? I feel it's.
Well, I mean, maybe that's a way to find your neck. That could be.
Is me in this
I'm
relaxed?
sure you haven't looked anywhere.
Is me in this relaxed of a state bothering you guys that much?
No, not at all. We dig
What are you
dig the
talking
new.
about? No, come on.
Hey,
I like it. I like it.
Good.
It's actually comfortable. I like it.
It's cozy.
I don't know if you do hands.
It is cozy. It looks like a very comfy couch, actually.
You know what? It couldn't be better.
Does it recline? Are you reclined right now?
I could recline more if I wanted to, but I have a good angle on the camera, so I'm leaving it right here.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right, so what are we doing tonight? What do we got? Oh, wait, we have a guest. Hold on, I'm sorry. We have a guest.
I'm stuck.
That we do.
I'm cramping up. I'm stuck. Shit.
Rub it out, Oach. Rub it out. Rub it out.
We don't do that on this show, Rob. Come on.
That's fair. No, that's fair. So we have, I don't want to say a different guest because everyone is important to our community and to this show. Just as Cousin Cinco, Chuck Ritchie was last week.
That's who that was.
Really, dude. We have a very special guest tonight who has been a fan of the show pretty much since we started live streaming. And is a very good bowler in her own right and has a fantastic story and is one of my inspirations with seeing her post on Facebook. She really is great about rallying the troops and try to get people to feel better about themselves. They're going through difficulties. And like the opening of the show says, Johnny, we don't just talk about bowling, but we talk about real life issues, which we've gone through plenty of times already. And this couldn't be a better time for that. So without further ado, let's bring in our very special guest, the lovely and talented Amanda Moore. Good evening, Amanda. Thanks for coming on with us.
Hi, guys.
Thank you.
What's up, Ocho?
My weight, my bench, my bicep size. That's what's up.
I see.
Well, it's good to have you here. We appreciate your support over the last few years since we've been on. And again, you are definitely, guys, seriously, if you're not following her on Facebook, definitely do that, especially if you want some inspirational posts. But we have a lot to dive into. Let's start with the bowling stuff first, and we'll leave your kind of life journey for the meat and potatoes of the show.
Okay.
If people don't know, she is a backup bowler. And how, Simo and Belmo and Troop all get crap for being two-handed. Well, Amanda gets that probably doubly for being a backup bowler. Have you always bowled that way? And when did you actually start getting into the sport?
So I've been bowling since I was 6 years old.
Okay.
I grew up bowling at a place called the Odeon in Clinton, Iowa, and I also took part in Imperial Lanes and the Plaza Bowl at Clinton. I bowled in the high school league, and we did very well in high school. My senior year, we won the state championship through the Plaza Bowl. I bowled all that, and then right out of high school, I started doing traveling sales, moved away, and plopped down in Idaho in 2003, graduated high school in 2002. And I took a hiatus from bowling. I didn't pick it back up until, I want to say right around 2011 out here. And I was a very bad bowler. I'd taken a lot of years off. So I started out in 2011 with like a 130-ish average. And then back in 2000, I want to say all the way up to 2019, I got into the 150s. And then I kind of worked on my game. I was more like your league bowler, just there to have fun, didn't really care, just wanted to get back into it, make some friends, didn't know anybody. In 2022, I fractured my foot on the job. And the year before that, I started doing like dabbling in tournaments, but I didn't take them serious. I just wanted to do a tournament, be cool like everybody else, waste my money. But in 2022, I fractured my foot. And when I fractured my foot, I realized like what's important to me in life and how important my hobby was for my mental health. Because when you're laid up for 8 months, you don't really have any much to do besides watch TV.
Sure.
So when I got out, I hired a coach out of Boise, Idaho. His name's Robert Bob Harvey. Some people may know who he is. He's part of PBA 50. I'm sure previous, like Chuck Ritchie probably knows him. He won a title in 2008 with Kelly Kulick, coached her. He's won the Dick Weber Sportsmanship Award twice, back in 2010 and 2013. He helped me phenomenally. I worked with him for 6 months. We had to redo my whole approach, redo how I held the ball, coming out of the ball, counting my steps. I didn't realize how much went into it. He taught me about the different types of balls, the science that goes into bowling with your ball motion, ball speed, just the different dynamics I didn't realize went into bowling. And then I did a bunch of research and stuff on my own. And in that same year, I just had a breakout year. I got on staff with several different companies, Creating the Difference. I was on staff with them and Genesis Bowling and Bowlify and Dexter. And then I worked with a pro shop back in New York called Custom Thumbs Pro Shop. And Phil and Joe out there have been nothing short of amazing for me. They helped me a lot. They set me up with the best brands that Brunswick has to offer and the best equipment, and worked real close with them. And last year I did great. I had a breakout year. So all my hard work paid off, but it was grueling. It was spending 3 or 4 days a week in practice for 4 or 5 hours at a time. And to the point that my local center, Bowladrome here in Twin Falls, is considered my home center. I would go there and make reels and shoot video, and made a deal with them as far as practicing to promote the bowling alley. So it's kind of weird. I had a bowling alley here, but a pro shop in New York, and people are always like, "How did that happen?" I didn't get lucky, but I did. The pro shop back in New York, they happened to have a ball raffle one time. And I was like, they were giving away a DV8 Hellcat, and I never rolled a Brunswick ball in my life before then. And so I was like, "Oh, I'd love to have a Hellcat." And they're like, "Send us your address." And I thought they were kidding. Sent me their address. They sent me the ball, and I fell in love, and I just kept in contact with them. And next thing you know, I have like 48 balls.
Wow.
So now I'm down to 18. I've given a lot away to the youth. I'm a huge advocate for youth bowling. And that's kind of where I think my mentality now is going towards what am I going to do for the future of the sport versus what can I do for me now. It sounds weird, but I've kind of accomplished everything that I want to accomplish. I've competed in some PWBA regionals. I'm part of the Championship Bowling Tour, and I compete in their things that are more west on the Pacific Northwest over here. And I won a tournament recently this past May. And then I did very well at nationals for the first time ever in my life at women's last year. Men, the open championships, I'm still struggling, but women's, I did pretty good. So I've kind of accomplished what I was set out to do. Now I just kind of want to use my platform to help the future generation of the sport, because that's where it's going to be.
That's pretty badass. I want to touch on a few things you said. There was a period in my bowling career where my home bowling center was in New Jersey, but I was helping Chris Forey with Buddy's Pro Shop do all of his ball videos.
Mm-hmm.
So I would travel while I was working for Brunswick. I would travel through Connecticut, and I would always stop and do a couple ball videos for Chris Forey with balls that he would drill. So my ball driller was in Connecticut, and my home center was in Jersey. Obviously, that changed with all the moving, but it's crazy when you find somebody in the industry that just knows your hand and your fit. It really doesn't matter at that point. That person just knows your hand, knows how to. My teammate on Tuesday nights, my buddy Pete, he is very, very specific about the bevel of his thumb hole. I have other guys that are very specific about the size of the vacuum grip cuts atop the 31-32nd hole. But if you find somebody that knows what you like, it's irreplaceable. What I wanted to ask you, Amanda, was as far as bowling, it seemed you're obviously, from the conversations you and I have had in the past, you're a very driven person. And it seems like pretty much anything you do it 150%. You do give it your all. There's nothing left in the bag. So, like, is that something that you taught yourself over the years? Is that the way you've always been? Is that something that you just woke up one day and said, shit, I have to be like this?
Yeah. Okay. So I've talked to Rob a little bit about this. So where it stems from is I don't have a lot of family per se. So when growing up, I had family, but we weren't all super close. And then there came a time we really weren't close. So when I moved out to Idaho, I shared this with Rob earlier today, and not many people know, I lived homeless in my car for 6 months. So I worked 4 jobs and tried to get myself on my feet, got a roommate, and I had to be very self-sufficient, very self-motivated, very self-driven. If not, that would have led to a very deep, dark path, right? So I have that all happen. I get on my feet, life happens. I have a kid, I'm married, get divorced, whatever. And then my sister passed away in 2019 from suicide. And I lost my father when I was 5 years old to suicide. So I've lost 2 of my very close people in my life to suicide. So for me, my driving factor every day is I never take anything for granted. I never take anyone for granted. I never take the day that God's given me to live for granted. So I'm always going to put in my best maximum effort into every single day with everything that I do. In hindsight, it's great and it's not. When you put yourself into something 110%, it can be very detrimental to your social life. It can also be very detrimental to your relationships. It can also be very detrimental mentally if you don't know how to stabilize the mental capacity to deal with things and to separate and deal with them accordingly. But yes, I've always given 150% into everything I do. I did it with bodybuilding. I've done it with bowling. I did it with raising my son. I've done it with every job I've had. I've done it with every relationship. It's full bore, all in, all the way. I just have to learn how to compartmentalize everything in its own way and say, this is what's important right now. These things can wait. And then I've got to go over here and make sure that I give this the same amount of attention. I can say with bowling, for me, bowling has saved my life. I hear people say that all the time, but it literally has saved my life. Not just because of the people. I specifically can give you an example. When I was at Nationals last year, I had no clue I was in the running to take over Ruby All Events. No clue. And we're going into the last game of, it was singles at the time. And, doubles or singles. I can't remember. Anyways, we were going into the last game and everyone behind me knew. And then I looked at the leaderboard and I'm like, oh my gosh, we were in 7th frame. And I'm like, all I have to do is shoot this. And I got it. I got it in the bag. And I was throwing the ball really well. And there was a moment I picked up my bowling ball and stood on the approach and I heard nothing. You're at nationals. I have EJ Tackett behind me because his wife's bowling 2 lanes away from me. I have, and he's amazing. I'm bowling with Josie Barnes, who, congrats to her, she just won her 6th title. I had all these people behind us watching because that's Vanderbilt University, and I happened to be an honorary alumni that year. Just was filling in for somebody. Now I'm a part of their group. So I get up there, no nerves, grab my ball. I hear nothing behind me. It's just me in the lane. And I, at that moment, was like, this is what this is about. This is what bowling is supposed to be about, where you're so confident that you know where you're right, where you're supposed to be, and what this is what you're supposed to be doing with your life. And I had a sense of peace and calm that came over. And when I realized I took over Ruby All events for the whole 4 weeks it lasted before I got bumped to 6th place, and that's where I landed and stayed, it was just the most incredible feeling ever, because it was like I've worked really hard. My coach, he used to like talk behind me to distract me on purpose to get me to shut down that factor. His biggest thing to me, for any of the bowlers out there, was we all have things that go on outside of our life, right? Everybody has, they have stressors. They have things going on in their life that can affect them mentally when they go to the bowling alley. He used to always tell me there's a bucket at the front door. And in that bucket, you take everything that's in your head right now and you dump it. And you go in there and you have fun. You focus on your bowling. You focus on what makes you good. You focus on what brings you joy. And then when you leave the bowling alley, you can either choose to pick that stuff back out of the bucket, or you can leave it there. So it took me several months to work on that, but I got there. And then I lost it this last year for a good better part of 7 months. And now I have it back. I actually went and practiced today. I talked to Rob while I was practicing, and it felt good. I hadn't picked up a bowling ball other than one tournament this whole summer, and went out with a 209 and a 223 and picked a gnarly split, and it was great. So yes, to answer, it's bowling's just, it's where it's at for me. I had actually considered a few months ago just giving up bowling, selling all my stuff, tying up my laces, being done forever. It's been a rough couple months and a rough decision, but today was exactly what I needed. So yeah.
It's always great.
I hope I answered your question.
No, that's a perfect answer, actually. It's always great to have something to kind of take your mind off of things. Like we had spoken earlier offline that, like podcasting and video games is kind of like my safe space where I can just push everything else out, get all the noise out, and just kind of focus on something that I'm doing. And bowling is a great outlet for that. And, going to the gym as well. And you had so many inspirational posts about, getting after it and going to the gym. And was that something you did just to try to quiet the noise in your head, just focus on, just have a goal to get in, obviously get in shape, but kind of just deconstruct and just do your own thing?
So yeah, I get asked that a lot. I never went to the gym for vanity purposes, for looks, for attention. I don't post, same reason I don't post for any of those same reasons. I don't bowl for those reasons. It's not for the attention, look at me, this is who I am. My purpose is mental health, like through and through. I have chronic anxiety, and some days are better than others. And for me, bowling and working out has been a sense of like quiet the mind and be with one and take me back to my roots of like, this is where I used to be. This is what all I went through to get to where I am now, and look at where I'm at now. Like I always say, one person's hard could be different from another person's hard, doesn't make it unhard. It's everyone's got a different hard. And how you deal with it says a lot about your character and says a lot about who you are in life and your integrity. And for me, bowling and working out, bodybuilding go hand in hand. They don't necessarily work that well together sometimes. But yes, it's more, for me, it's more about quieting the mind of anxiety. And I'm sure there's other people out there too. I think everybody in some way, shape, or form deals with somewhat of an anxiety, has a role in their life. And then people have depression. For me, this last year, I dealt with a lot of self pressure, along with peer pressure. So bowling, where I didn't have bowling and I wasn't working out, I didn't really have anything. So I had to get back to square one. But yes, I think using an outlet to help quiet the mind is great. And I think a lot of times where I struggle is, like I've told you before, the lack of sportsmanship in the bowling community has become very prevalent, especially amongst league bowlers. And that's what I hope it changes, or I hope to try and help change it with the future generation of the sport. Because when I was in high school, everyone was cheering. Everyone was stopping, cheering on everybody. You bowled over a 200, everyone in the house just stopped to watch. And it was just awesome. There's been times I've been to leagues and people are on track to bowl a 300, like, oh my gosh, can you believe they're going to bowl another 300? Oh my gosh, there they go again. House shot hack. And it's like, what are we doing with that? Like, what are we doing with those comments other than hurting people's feelings or showing how insecure we are with our own, with ourselves and the bowling community? Like, we need to be better. We need to be better for other people. We need to be better for ourselves. And we need to set good examples because these kids are watching.
That's one thing I've never understood is, I'm no saint. I've done some pretty disgusting things in my life, which half I'm still kind of proud of to this day. But the one thing I've never ever done is criticize anybody on a bowling lane.
Yeah.
I mean, a prime example, I'll just real quick, is last night me and my buddy Pete bowled our doubles league against two newbies. This poor kid had to come into a league and with a 210 average. The kid's probably about 170. But when he throws a turkey and he shoots 206, bet your ass I'm giving him a high five. The kid, you could almost tell he was trying not to get overly excited, like he didn't want to throw it in me and Pete's face. But every few times when he did, me and Pete were the biggest supporters of the guy. I wish you saw a little bit more of that, because that's what makes people stay involved with something.
Yes.
I mean, when I started weightlifting, Amanda, I didn't go for vanity purposes at all either. I went to find something that created the same dopamine rush that alcohol did. For me, that was always my drug. It's alcohol.
Yeah.
And when I got the same sensation that I get after however many drinks, after 45 minutes in the gym, not to mention how good I feel going to the lanes after the gym. And then what started happening was the consistency, the dedication, the want, the urge to want to go to the gym structured everything else in my life exactly the way that it was supposed to be. And I'm grateful to know that, I'm assuming very much the same way you are, that that kind of ethic is contagious. And the more and more people that understand it, like that kid may average 175 and get really, really upset when he bowls 150, or somebody may tease him. Listen, I'm 235, 240 in league. That's the same if I go out and shoot 215. I bowled identically under my average. So it's all relevant to who you are, like you said earlier, or where you are in the game. I mean, so I just wanted to throw that in there.
So I want to point out, I noticed, I think this is Kristen. I think I'm friends with her on Facebook. And she said the hate that is given towards backup bowlers makes me want to stay away from the bowling alley. I'm telling you right now, like, don't quit. I have had so many people give me so much flack for being a backup bowler. And I've also had pro shop owners try to change me when I went to go get help before I actually got a coach. It just doesn't work for me. I've tried. I literally have tried throwing it the right way, and the ball goes right in the gutter.
Amanda, I want to play devil's advocate, because there's some people in the chat talking about the backup ball too. And I really want to bring in Ocho on this for his perspective, also being the doc. But this is a kind of here's what I want to say about the backup ball. In my eyes, when people say to me, John, why would you not recommend a backup ball to somebody? My answer has always been the same since day one. It limits the amount of things you can do on the bowling lane, because the human body is not designed to go that way. Enter Dr. Ocho.
Yeah.
So, whereas, like, I'm not going to see any backup bowlers, fading it or wheeling it from the fourth arrow on the burn on the second block of a PWBA event. And so it always worried me. But the flip side of it is, okay, well then, I mean, how many titles do Parker Bone, Walter Ray, and Norm Duke have to win throwing it straight up 5? Got him. It's the same thing from the other side of the lane. That's why I've always been quiet about the backup ball.
But Dr. Ocho, isn't that true? I had a coach tell me that women's elbows are actually naturally made for backup bowling, because our elbows come in.
It's
Is that right?
there's more. It's called a valgus stress. A
Okay.
valgus stress, where a varus would be like it's called gunstock deformity. So normally, yes, you'd be more like this, whereas men are more like this. It's just angled. Probably, it's also the ligament laxity too. With less, this is just anatomy. The musculature is a little less. The striations aren't as pliable. Not as pliable, but they're not as taut. Actually, I should say. So the valgus stress, the valgus angle is a little more on women. It's almost more natural for them to do it. The issue is there's only about 10 degrees rotation, if that, maybe 8 degrees rotation that you could do off the wrist to get the ball to turn.
Wow.
And you lose all the other options, like he was saying. That's where I thought he was going. That's where I thought this was going to go, actually, with the wrist ability, because cupping it or flattening it out is probably the only option, because you only have this little bit of rotation. There's just not enough, and it's just a range of motion thing. This is human anatomy, and again, can't go more unless your elbow is really. First of all, people, there's no such thing as double jointed. So stop with that nonsense. You don't have two joints in your elbow. You have an olecranon process and an olecranon fossa. That's it. That's what we have. Look in any goddamn anatomy book. That's what we have. There's not two of them, you idiots. It's how lax the ligaments are. If the ligaments are more lax, then you have a little more mobility, hypermobility, not double jointed.
Well, and if I'm going to be completely humble and honest, as a backup bowler, I cannot play, like I can't stand what would be like 25 and throw 10. Like I can't go, like it doesn't work. And naturally, I was practicing today standing 18 and throwing like 10, 9, 10. And my feet, if you watch, I don't go, like not many bowlers can just go straight from where they're starting to the end of their approach and be in the same exact spot.
You're probably in such a different position at the release.
Yes, but you veer off to the left every single time, no matter what I've tried. I even tried taking my right foot and putting it a little bit in front of me, out one step outside to not veer so much to the left, but every time. So I have a very hard time with short patterns that are super, super dry, because it doesn't allow me to play straight up and down and in.
Roll out.
Yes, and as a backup bowler, we are very prevalently better when we can play straight down and in, straight up the boards or straight to the pocket. When we have to play outside in, it screws every time, because either you're going to hit the pocket at the wrong angle and you're going to lean in corner pins or splits, or you're not going to be consistent. And that's been the biggest thing I've been working on this past couple of years, is just consistency. And last year, Josie Barnes herself actually made a comment to me in nationals, like, you are one of the most consistent bowlers I've seen, especially as a backup bowler. I'm like, well, I worked really hard at that. It is super hard. And there's a lot of females that come to me that are taking up backup bowling, or they've been backup bowling, but there's not a lot of coaches around that help with backup bowling, or pro shop owners. As I said, they'll try to get people to change their ways. And these women just want to backup bowl because it feels more natural to them. And I just tell them, like, keep practicing. That's all you can do is practice. If somebody doesn't know how to help you, you can still get it done. So I try to give them a little bit of help with backup bowlers too. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I've noticed a huge change as to where my starting approach with where my ball is at when it comes to speed, direction. The biggest thing, when I used to hold my ball like, I sent this video to you today, Rob.
Yes.
So my power leg is super, super strong, as you can see, but I have this thing where I used to hold my ball like way up at my shoulder. And by the time it came way back and it came out, I'd already lost so much velocity and speed. So we took it down to like right around the rib area is where I start. So when I come back and come through the ball, I still have so much power going through that ball that now my issue is I've increased my speed, I've increased my rev rate, and my power leg has been substantially helpful to where now there's sometimes I rip on the ball and I really need to remember to soften my hand and let the ball do the work and not try to rip it down the lane. So there's things that you can do that are different as backup bowlers as to where you even start with hand positioning in the ball. That is a huge, huge thing. And so backup bowling it's work, just like two-handed bowling. I tried it one day. I can't do it. It's work. Like I have a lot of respect for the guys that are super consistent. I know a few really super consistent two-handed bowlers. And I got to meet Anthony Simonson 2 years ago at Open Championships and Marshall Kent. And just talking to those two guys separately about their bowling styles and their bowling in general was really fascinating at how they approach their style of bowling. So I just say, if you're a backup bowler, stick with it. I've done it since I was 6 and I'm 42 years old and no one's changing me.
You saying letting the ball do the work is literally what I wanted to go at before, because again, and by the way, from that angle, you can't tell.
Yeah.
From when we're watching you laterally, the way your release is, it looks just, I mean, for me, I'm an amateur.
It looks normal.
But when you're saying, letting the ball do the work, and yes, you have a little bit of a risk, and you can get a little more, a little less, but that's where your advantage is, because there isn't so many flaws you can do with the ball. You can't get around it because you're not going that way. And if you do, you're only 1 or 2 degrees different. So you're not going to notice that. So you're literally letting the ball do most of the work, which would be, it's to your advantage that you didn't say, well, I didn't get out of that one right. Okay, now it's time for a ball change. It's almost like you have more conviction when you're time for a ball change, because you're throwing it so consistently and the same way that there's at least for, anybody who's switched bowling balls has kind of been, am I going to squirt it too much, or am I going to overshoot? I move to the right? Do I have to rifle it? At least, again, amateurs. So it's an advantage for you in that respect.
Yeah.
What I liked about the video is, and something that isn't spoken about nearly enough, is the flat spot at the bottom of the swing. The flat spot is how long your hand is in the position to execute with full leverage to your target. And that happens from elongating or separating the pivot step into the slide step. And in that video we just saw, you can't even see your pivot step while you have the perfect L with the slide leg. And going back to what Josie said about you being a consistent backup player, if you're hitting the line like this every single time, it's no wonder why you're so consistent, because with the limited, like Ocho said, degree of tilt you can actually use your hand, and you're engaging your lower half in the shots so much, that's how you throw consistent shots all the time. You use basically as little of your upper body as possible and just rely on the trunks,
Yep.
And
I used to tighten my upper body and use my arms, especially when I was bodybuilding. I was very predominantly strong up top.
Yes.
And so I would know I was trying to muscle the ball. I was literally trying to force the ball where I wanted it to go. And I was trying to place the ball. And so when I started working with my coach, he's like, we're not placing the ball. So we would take a piece of tape, like the tape you put in your thumb hole, we would take a piece of that. We put it over an arrow. He'd say, okay, 100 times. I want you to hit that 100 times. That's your homework. And I want you to hit it consistently. And so I started noticing little things that I was doing. Either my footing was off, or I was swaying, or I was staying the ball too long, or my eyes were over there, but my hand was here, like just different things. So there's different tactics and stuff that you can use to help you. But for me, it was just learning to breathe and relax. I see a lot of people, they go grab their ball. They don't wipe it down, which to me is I have to every single time. Even if the ball doesn't have oil, because there's still grime and dirt that comes from the back of the machines, the ball returns. But I wipe my ball and then I stand there and I loosen. Sometimes I'll shake my shoulder. I'll just stand there and I'll loosen up and I take a deep breath and then I go. A lot of times, 9 times out of 10, especially with league bowlers, what I see, they grab their ball, they stand up, they want to go throw it as fast as they can. I'm like, how did you even have time to, in your head, visualize a line? So a lot of people, they don't know how to read ball motion. It's taken me a while to learn it. But if you actually care about what your ball's going to do for you and what's going to happen down lane, you have to get in the habit of grabbing your ball, taking a deep breath, relaxing. And like I said, my power leg is my strong leg. I had a tournament just about a month ago, 10 games in one day, and it was back to back to back to back to back. The next day, I could tell I hadn't practiced in a while. My left glute and hamstring were on fire. I'm like, okay, I used that leg right, because it should be sore like that. So a lot of people don't realize bowling is not this thing, you're paying money every time to go to league, or you're paying money to go to a tournament. Why are you rushing it? Like you want to know how good you can do, grab your ball, take a deep breath, relax, and then watch what your ball does down lane. Watch it go through the pins, watch it finish, see what it does. Don't just throw your ball and go, oh, that's not going to be a strike, and turn around and walk away. Well, why wasn't it a strike? What arrow did you hit? Where did your ball go? Where did it go through the pocket? Are you in the right ball? You know, I used to be one of those league bowlers that was like 6 balls every time, 6 balls every time.
Right.
And I was changing. Then I kept taking 6 balls, got in the habit of it, but I noticed I only need really 1 or 2 balls. And in my opinion, everyone needs a spare ball. I will stick through that through and through. Everyone needs a spare ball. EJ Tackett gave me the best piece of advice when he did a seminar up here in Mountain Home this last year, was everyone needs a spare ball. And he used to practice spares. And he goes, the best bowlers are the ones that can pick the spares that most people would use their first ball for. If you're trying to hook your ball into the pot, or you're trying to hook your ball down lane to pick a spare, you're not really a good bowler. A good bowler can use a spare ball and hit anywhere on the lane and pick that spare. Right. So that's when I bought a spare ball, and I've never veered from it since. So a lot of people use, like, you know, the 1-3 or 1-2. For me, it'd be 1-3. I used to use my first ball as my spare ball. Easy pick, right? You just go like you're going to the pocket. Not anymore. Spare ball every single time. So yeah.
Amanda, I wanted to throw something in here for you, and especially for our viewers, what you just said, as far as picking up the ball, running to the foul line. Guys, people argue all the time that bowling is not a sport. However, bowling shares all the exact same characteristics of any sport. When you watch baseball, I want you to everybody just think of your favorite baseball hitter, whether it's in the past or it's now. So, like, for instance, currently for me, I like watching Pete Alonso hit. I used to like watching Ken Griffey Jr. swing the bat, or Jim Thome. You know what they all did? The exact same thing every time before every pitch. They had their pre-pitch routine. Nomar Garciaparra used to.
I was gonna say, look at Nomar.
The same amount of toe touches. Joe McEwen used to hop and fucking swing it at gnats in the second row. Everybody.
I got a full 3-second ass shake before I bowl. So
you watch Andre Agassi in tennis, Pete Sampras. They serve the ball. They bounce it the same exact amount of times. What they're doing in that pre-shot routine is they are not only
they're robotic at that point.
They're already visualizing what is about to happen because they've perfected it.
They've done it so many times that this is just this is the fun part now. They put in thousands of hours to do this, so it just happens.
And so in retrospect, a perfect bowler to watch is Parker Bone III. You could turn on Parker Bone III in 1987, 97, or 2025, and I guarantee you, whether it's the first frame of game 1 or the shot for the title, a strike shot or a spare shot, Parker will pick up the ball off the ball return, spin it in a towel twice, drop the towel, put his ball on his right hip and put his left hand over the air, step on the approach, put his fingers in. Every single time for his entire bowling career.
He's one of the most incredible people to watch too, and humble.
Yes. And that's how you win.
He's the best.
And it's so true for everybody. So the second you feel yourself getting skewed in league and you're rushing and this and that, league, tournament, I don't care what it is. Just remember, your body is telling your brain at this point what to expect.
Yeah.
So if you're conscious of that, it makes the game a hell of a lot more fun and a lot easier.
Yes.
You know, it's funny. I watch, Belmo does that too. Like, even if he's just bowling in a tournament and qualifying, he'll put his foot up, on the ball return every single time and just stand there, and then he'll go through his, like, that's literally the same thing he does over and over again. Boog usually like wipes his foot off, puts his thumb in his little pouch he's got, puts the pouch back in his pocket. Kyle True wipes his feet. Like, everybody has their own.
Walter Ray blows in the thumb hole every single shot, strike or spare.
Yep.
Checks.
Tommy Jones, the way he does this thing, and like.
Or Chris Barnes. Chris Barnes loves to get that thumb all the way in the hole.
All the way in.
When we had him on, I asked him about it. I asked him about all this.
Shimmy shaking. Yep, got it.
A lot of people picked up the same shake.
That's what I do with the ass. I don't do.
Meanwhile, Ryan does it the exact same way now.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
You watch them and it's like mirrored images. Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, there's my friend
Pricer
Russell.
picked up that little wiggle too. Like everybody kind of does that little settling.
You know
There's a lot of
Russell,
guys that
yeah?
do that.
Amanda,
Yeah.
you know
I'm friends
Russell,
with him
yeah?
on Facebook. He's
Oh,
a
my.
good dude.
He is a really good dude.
Do you know that Russell and I used to bowl JBTs together like
I did
30
not know
years
that.
ago?
I did
Wow.
not. That's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Small
Great
bowling
guy.
is such a
Great
small
guy.
world. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It really
I'll be
is.
Rad Rob, I'll be right back.
Sure. So you talked about sportsmanship, and you see it a lot on Facebook too, and not just in bowling, but I mean in general. Like any thread you want to look down, someone's always going to be a douche. Someone's always going to disagree with you. But you're right. Bowling has become so hypercritical in the last couple of years, especially online.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what it is, in the actual bowling center. But
yeah, I had I can give an example last
Sure.
year where I was bowling a CB Tour event, which is Championship Bowling. They run it. They're based out of Utah. They're fantastic people. They actually got me over my fear of being live streamed while bowling. The first few tournaments I did of theirs, I was a nervous wreck. I bowled terrible. But I got over that fear really quick. And I went back and watched a live stream that I bowled at because I wanted to like critique myself and see what I did or didn't do and why I stayed in a ball so long and what I didn't see that I could see on the live stream. And I was reading the comments and there were people like, what is she doing? Why is she bowling like that? That is the most unorthodox thing I've ever seen. Like, should she be bowling? That's as bad as a two-handed bowler. And I'm like, these people, they don't know me. They don't know my story. They don't know maybe there's some ailment that keeps me from bowling normal. Like, and then that's where the term refty came up. I'm a righty that bowls on the left-hand side. So I always say refty for life. But then over time, in this last year and a half, I've noticed like Daria Payak, she put out some videos of her doing backup bowling because ambidextrous. There's people out there that can do both. That's great. But then it started to become people were putting out these videos of look at me, I'm a pro. I can do backup bowling and I can also do this. And look at me, I do two-handed bowling, but I can do backup two-handed bowling. So for all the flack that I've gotten for all these years, now the backup bowling and two-handed bowling is becoming a thing where people are wanting to mimic it and do it. Not necessarily maybe might not be good at it, but if they keep working at it, they'll be good at it. But yes, the sportsmanship within the bowling community has become one of the reasons I hate going to league. Like I hate league bowling. I've told everybody a million times, I would rather go to a tournament and suffer on a pattern like the Great Wall of China or Red Square than I would want to go to a league, because league, you're bowling for pennies. Essentially, if you think about how much money you put into league out here on the West Coast, we don't get much back compared to what we get at all. And so we're bowling for pennies. And I'm like, but you guys are acting like we're bowling every week for $10,000 or we're bowling for this big, huge monetary prize at the end of the season. Why don't you loosen up and just bowl? I've seen people that they average 210 to 220. And every week they're expecting to come and roll 650 plus, 680 plus, 700s. And when they don't, they get pissed off like someone just stole their dog down the road and run off with it and is not coming back. Like they get so amped up and like, let's settle down. Everybody has bad nights or bad weeks. I had bad months. And that's part of where my self pressure and peer pressure came in from this last year, because I had such a stellar year the year before that I walked in the league every night thinking I had to bowl good. And when I bowled bad, I would go home and like with my tail between my legs and I would cry on the way home, because not only am I already anxiety ridden about going next week, I'm already thinking about what people are saying about me tonight. And there was one night in particular this season, my anxiety got the best of me and I could not shut my brain off. I couldn't focus. I couldn't see my mark. I didn't understand what I was doing. I wasn't watching ball motion. I rolled out of there with a 483 series. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And just, I totally made me feel horrible as a bowler. And I'm like, why am I even doing this sport? But then when I realized is like, nobody came up and gave me a word of encouragement. Nobody made me feel like it's okay. We all have bad nights. Nobody said any type of anything to me to make me feel better about the situation, but they were all watching me melt. And that's what's wrong with the sport. If you see somebody that's struggling, help them. If you have the capacity to help them, help them. Not everybody wants help, but most people do. If you see that something's going on and you see it, but they're not seeing it, offer some advice or offer some help. Or if you see someone struggling and having a bad night, offer some words of encouragement or try to get them to smile. Because at the end of the day, the bowling centers are not going to thrive if they don't have bowlers. And out here, we've already seen a decline in bowlers. And it doesn't have to do with the fees. It's the bowlers. And I've said this from day one, and people can bash me if they want, but bowlers are what's ruining the sport of bowling. Yes, there's other things that go into it, but it's just like any other sport you're in. I told you I did bodybuilding. I did competitive bodybuilding. And you want to talk about ruthless, like that's ruthless. You have to have really thick skin to deal with that. So it's helped me in bowling realize like what's important to talk about with people and what's not so important, and what's important to like bring to the surface level to be talked about, and what's like just leave it alone and let them be type of thing. So I think my biggest pet peeve is like in a lot of our leagues, we have kids that come and watch their parents, and they can be anywhere from the age of 5 to 18. And you're setting precedents on what the sport of bowling is. If you're acting outlandishly, or you're saying vulgar comments, or you're talking about other bowlers in a not so nice demeanor, these kids are picking up on that. And one of my favorite things from last year, I've done it for the last 3 years, is we have a adult youth tournament out here. So the adults can bowl with as many youth as they want. They can't bowl with them more than once. That is the funnest, the best tournament I do. That's the best tournament I do all year, because I love the joy on the kids' faces, whether they're just freshly starting out or if they're a high schooler that is like the best high school athlete on the team. They have so much fun, and they remind me what bowling's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be fun, relaxing. If you roll a strike, you get all excited. If you roll a split, you laugh at it. If you miss your spare, you laugh at it. Like the kids are essentially reteaching us adults how to be in a sport, which is phenomenal. So I give kudos to the parents that are keeping the kids in the sport of bowling and not letting them give up when there's hard times. So, yeah.
That's beautifully said. And a couple things just from, first off, I agree with absolutely everything you're saying. And you can obviously understand that when it comes to people talking about people, a lot of people talk about me in the bowling world. And some of the shit that I hear about me, I actually find amazingly comical at this point. The shit I've heard over the last 40 years is pretty amazing. And like I got accused of being obliterated, hammered at Majestic Lanes a week ago because somebody I used to drink with showed up to the lanes during league night to watch somebody else. So at the end of the night, the story was that I was off the wagon and I was obliterated. So like I understand what it's like. And like every time I bowl good, it's because I'm lefty, and every time I bowl bad, I'm a horrible representation of my last name. I've heard it my entire life. And in the same way, you know, I got into not competitive bodybuilding like you, but got into weightlifting. You're exactly right. Man, those people are ruthless. Not to mention it's already the loneliest life there is to live. And you got the only people you're talking to are fucking assholes. Excuse my French. But what I did want to say about the whole ref thing, which I think is great too, is one of my favorite musicians growing up, or musical artists, was Michael Jackson. And when he came out with that video for Black or White off the Dangerous album, at the very end, I don't know if everybody remembers it, but he goes around and he starts smashing the car windows and he turns into the Panther. But at the very, very end of it, I know it's on a completely different line with what the song was about, but it says in bold letters at the bottom, prejudice is ignorance. And unfortunately, especially in the bowling world where you have so many different blue and white collar personalities all in the same building on a weekly basis, it's just like going to work every day and being in that similar like work office drama environment. And people choose to open their mouths way too quick. Oh, she throws it back up. She throws it like an asshole. She throws it wrong. How deep are you with your thoughts, Jack Handy, that's the first thing that you want to belt out? It's absurd. It's absurd that people even think that way. Whereas somebody who is a little bit more of an intricate thinker might say, maybe You know, like Rob was talking about or Ocho was talking about the visceral labrum or whatever the hell it was, Ocho.
Yeah.
I mean, people are too quick to jump at what's different. Meanwhile, we have been praising what's different for a very, very, very long time. Freddie Mercury was different, and we still praise his voice and his music to this day. Elton John was different, and we still praise his voice to this day. I mean, Marilyn Manson, for Christ's sake, was different, and some of his music was fantastic. And I'm only using musicians to pick it out. Let's go bowling with Mike Lickstein. He's a little different too. How about Jason Belmonte and everybody that told him what? I mean, everybody always wants to be so quick to jump on. What's that movie where it says we are different? People are always afraid of what's different. Cool Runnings, the Jamaican bobsled.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. Meanwhile, different is what makes the world great. That's why I love being a little bit wacky, because so I really am loving this conversation. By the way, I think this is a really, really good, awesome topic, and you're an awesome guest. Awesome guest.
Oh, thank you so much.
Very informative too. It's a very informative show, and I'm telling you, a lot of people are listening intently to what you have to say tonight because everything is relatable. We always talk about bowling, but everything that we are talking about tonight is relatable to someone in some capacity.
Yeah, I appreciate that very much. I just kind of like, if you don't mind, I wanted to share something from this last year.
Sure.
Go right ahead.
When I tell you I had a really good year last year, I had a really good year. And then I had a moment of league bowlers essentially ruined bowling for me. They did. I felt judged every time I walked in the door. If I wore a jersey with my name on it, with all of the companies that I was represented by, I would get made fun of. And for me, they don't realize like I'm on staff with Bullify. Like I have to represent them in some way, shape, or form on the lanes, whether it be a t-shirt or a jersey. And there were nights I just wanted to wear a jersey, but I would get made fun of or things said about me, and I would hear it. And some people would say it loud enough so I would know. And I don't really know when this became a thing of why we're judging on what people are wearing to league. It's no different than if somebody decides to wear just a t-shirt to a tournament instead of dressing professionally. That is allowed. And anyways, it really got to me a lot. I've learned a lot about not caring so much about what other people think. But this last year, it really hit me. And I went through a really deep, dark depression right before winter hit with bowling. I was coming home crying like 2-3 times a month in my car from bowling, whether it be bowling bad, someone said something about me. I felt judged as soon as I walked through the door. I knew I wasn't on my A game. So I felt like I wasted my time and wasted my money. And so then it turned into then I was just anxiety ridden all the time. And then it turned into I wanted to quit. So I took almost this whole summer off. I took as soon as leagues ended, end of April, beginning of May, I have not touched a bowling ball except for 3 times. Once was to go have fun with my boyfriend and just do whatever, just mess around, which I usually have fun. And that time I did not have fun. I was not having fun. I wasn't focusing. It was a total waste of time. And I realized my heart is not in this. Then I went another time and I went and tried to do a sweeper challenge series type thing. And I did not do good at all. I mean, I averaged 148 on a sport shot, and it was humiliating. Then I go in May to Mountain Home, Idaho, and I win the grand finals. I was the grand finals under division champion, and I couldn't have thrown the ball better. And I felt really, really good about it. But then again, my mental health was still bothering me. So I took more time off. Today is the first time I've picked up a bowling ball in almost over a month, and I needed that. So my advice to people is that if you get down and out, and whether you go through depression or you deal with anxiety, sometimes it's best to take a step back from the one thing that you think might be pulling you out of it. Because like I said, bowling saved my life, and bowling has been the thing for me that's helped me come back to what makes me me. But this last year it didn't. So I had to realize I needed to take a step back. Instead of diving into it more and making myself feel worse, I took a step back, really did some self-reflection. And then when I came back, today is today was what I needed at practice, which is where that video is from, to make me realize, like, I am still capable of being the bowler that I've worked my butt off to be. It's just I needed some distance from people. I needed distance from the centers. I needed distance from the people. I took myself off staff with everyone but Genesis Bowling about a month ago. Just it was the pressure. I had done so well with the companies I was with that I felt pressure all the time to perform. I felt pressure to release reels and promote their products and wear them all the time and say things necessarily somewhat maybe I didn't believe in at times. And so I want to get back to just the basics of bowling, like being able to go and have fun and not worry about being on staff or worrying about performing or worrying about doing good for the sake of others. I want to do good for myself. So I just want everybody to know, like, there's people that come to league and you have no idea what they're going through. So it's best to just be a nice person. And if you don't like the person for whatever reason, don't talk to them, because they could still be going through something themselves. And at least they had the guts to get up that day and show up. For me, I'm not a quitter. And this last season, I quit on one of my leagues out of 3 with a month left to go. I just couldn't handle it anymore. And for me, that was a big mental taxing state. Not to mention, I'm sure you've heard Shannon O'Keefe and Diana Zavjalovic have both talked about having that mental block. They'll get up on the lane and they go get their approach and they screw up the whole 2-lane courtesy thing in a big tournament. So then they feel like they screw everybody up because they're having essentially they're having an internal mental breakdown. I had that through the whole season. There were times I would grab my ball, I was mid-approach and I would stop, turn back around. And I'm like, what am I doing? I can't even focus. I'm all jittery. I'm not mentally present. And so those two have been a huge inspiration for me on how to get my mind right and get it back to where I can get back to what I love doing. There's Shannon right there. But those two are amazing. And they honestly are the 2 bowlers I've never met. And they are my biggest idols in bowling as females. They're spectacular. So everybody goes through it. And I've had people message me talking about going through it. And I can roll that right into most people know, but some don't. I've battled cancer twice in my life. So I had it in 2007, went for an annual checkup in 2014, got it again. The time in 2014, I just graduated college in 2012. I was in the medical field, pulled out of the medical field, got cancer, and I was literally deathbed cancer. Like, I thought that was the end of my life. That in itself is what perpetuated me to realize another reason of why you don't take anything or anyone for granted, and you always give 110%. If you think you've given your all, you always have another 10%. There's always another 10% to give. So like when I went to go practice today, there was just something that didn't feel right at first and I couldn't figure out what it was. And essentially what it was I was not relaxing. I was like, okay, when you fall off the horse, you come back and you're like, oh my gosh, am I going to forget my steps, my counts, my arrow, how I hold my ball? Like, you just feel like you're going to forget that stuff. And it kind of reminded me that I need to just take a step back and take a breather, because there's always 10% more to give. So that's what I did today. I thought I was done and I gave it 10% more and I figured it out and it was great. So, so when you asked earlier, like what drives me to give my all in everything I do, that's another one that rolls right into that. Is the C word is a nasty word. It doesn't matter what age you are. When you have something that's a shell-shocking experience in life, you kind of realize what matters in life and what's important and what's not. And then you realize that you really are, we as human beings are a lot stronger than we give ourselves credit for. And we are very resilient individuals. So I don't know. I think all of you guys have been awesome. I love watching your show. And Johnny, I got to meet you a couple of years ago, and that was a moment I will never forget. You have been an idol of mine and I followed your dad for years, but you've been an idol of mine. I remember when the PBL ball came out, and I had messaged Darren Barlow, who works for Ace Mitchell, messaged him about the ball, and I was like, I want this ball. I need this ball. It has Johnny Petraglia's signature on it. Like, I gotta have it. And it had the Malik core in it. So yeah, I love that ball. I don't even roll it because it's special.
Well, that means a lot. And again, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on tonight. This was a very, very deep show, and thank you for thank you for sharing your story, and
welcome.
And thank goodness that you're still here to now keep spitting out all this positive energy and helpfulness towards everybody else. But yeah, the big C can eat you know what, and let's just very, very grateful just to have you here.
Thank you.
And which makes what you do even more badass. So
thank you. I appreciate that very much. You blush.
I alerted Rad Rob. I'm on my phone. I don't know what time it is. I was on a relatively personal strict time limit tonight. Is it after 9 yet?
It's 11 after.
Okay. I got about 5 more minutes, and then I'll just say goodbye first. You guys keep on chatting, but I got a decent hike home to back to see mom and dad and take care of Evelyn tonight.
Nice.
So I want to.
Johnny, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Actually.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a shell shocker for people. I just purchased 2 motive balls.
All right.
Last month, I'm going to venture out. I used to throw Storm. That was all I threw. I threw Hammer in high school, and then I went strictly to Brunswick the last 3 years. But now I want to like kind of just go back to throwing whatever I want to throw.
Yeah. Sure.
But out of all of your balls in your arsenal, what is your favorite one this year?
In my personal arsenal, well, my old faithful. This is so funny because I was literally just talking to my dad about this. I believe the other night, which I'm going to talk about on next week's show about his favorite balls that were always in his bag in like each era. But for me, you know, the ball that's always in my bag is my Hammer Effect Tour. That ball, and I have 2 more sitting in the garage that I haven't drilled yet because my oil-soaked, like year-long Effect Tour always stays. But as far as the new drills that I'm finding a lot of success with I'm really enjoying throwing the new Pulse, the remake of the Columbia Pulse. Very, very heavy rolling. I did alter the surface a little bit. I really enjoy throwing the Ethos Solid. That's a very controllable motion for me. In the urethane world, I'm still favoritive. Again, I'm not on tour, so I can throw the softer stuff, but I still favor the motion of the Brunswick Attitude Control over the Purple Hammer and the Black Hammer. For me, I get it to stand up a lot sooner and have a little bit more of a predictable motion with my ball roll. But other than those, I'd really say everything has a place, but again, I haven't found the ball that's quite as amazing as that Effector in a very, very long time.
That's a great ball. Actually, the Effector, the Special Effect, and the Hammer Effect, all 3 are in my bags, and I love all 3 of them. The Hammer Effect is what I did really well with at Nationals last year. The Special Effect and then the Track Stealth Mode, those are what I won a tournament with in May. I do have to say, though, you brought up the Ethos Solid. Do you remember me messaging you, asking you for a layout and recommendations for my Ethos Pearl? And you told me
yes.
Short pin and gave me a layout, and we did it. And that
70, it was 70 by 2 3/4 by 30.
Yes, and that ball is amazing. Love that ball. It's great.
So hold on real quick. How do you do a layout? I mean, I assume you just see it rotating the other direction.
It's still based off of her axis point. It's always the pin.
Oh, so this is for her hand and what? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
so basically, I was laying it out for a left-hander based off of her back up.
That's what I was wondering. Yes.
And at that time, I had never done short pin. I had never done pin down. Nothing. I was just your generic. Everything was drilled the same. Mm-hmm. So kudos to Johnny for once again being rock star that he is.
Look, that was trial and error. That was countless me in my store at Sunset Station in Vegas just saying, what the fuck do I have to do to make my ball start doing this instead of this? And I eventually like, ooh, it works for me.
That was awesome. So thanks for that. I'm still rolling that ball.
And me,
that's awesome.
How are my balls drilled?
I don't know. I never drilled one for you.
Yeah, but no, the ones I have. I mean, what's do I have a short pin or a long
You're
pin?
in the traditional pin length for a basic house bed.
I'm average.
They're average, just like your biceps. They're average.
Right. The 4.5-inch range.
We knew that was going to happen.
What?
Ocho,
now I'm cramping. Oh,
Ocho,
shit.
your pin is in like the 4.5-inch range, just like your.
That's not bad. I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. Good.
Oh, wait a second. It's not bad. I gotta start doing sit-ups. It'll look like it's a 5.5.
That's better. That's the ticket.
Oh my gosh.
On that note,
that's a joke. Abs are made in the kitchen. Muscles are made in the gym. Everybody knows that.
Well,
do all the abs
well,
you
Rob,
want, eat cookies. You don't
Rob,
have
I wanted to share one thing. So the reel I made today, I kind of quoted this at the bottom, but this is a quote that stays in my bowling backpack with me everywhere I go, and I read it when I need a refresher. So I don't know if anyone's ever watched the movie Steve Jobs, but Steve Jobs had this quote that I live by, and it says, "Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking." That quote in particular got me through this last year because I was so hyper-focused on everyone else's thoughts of me and their way of thinking of how I should do things or how I should be, that it stifled my abilities on the lanes. So therefore, that quote is basically what's helped me get through some of the rough times. So that's just another little niche that people can take. Like if you have a quote or something, keep it with you and remind you of, when you're going through some rough times on the lanes. And not everybody bowls tournaments, but league bowlers can do it, use that as well. So I just wanted to
like that.
I like
and
that.
I'll give you my one final thought, and then I'm gonna actually sign off and let you guys close out, Rob. Just because you brought up bodybuilding again for the bowler, and this is actually for my buddy Dave too, because he's starting to experience this as a new bowler with everybody coming at him every which way from Sunday about what to do and what not to do. When I started weightlifting, I followed Jay Cutler. I followed Mr. Olympia. I studied all of his videos. I watched what he ate. I watched what he did. I watched his rep range. I watched his form. I listened to his little tricks. I listened to everything that he did. Why? Because he was 4-time Mr. Olympia. He dethroned the greatest of all time, Ronnie Coleman, and is the only Mr. Olympia to ever lose and come back and win again the following year after not winning. But in the bodybuilding world, there are so many influencers out there saying, do your bicep curls this way to put more stress on the negatives rather than the. I want you to imagine going into a gym and you're trying to work out and it's like a bowling alley, where when you're on a Smith machine, 18 people in the gym come up to you and say your form is wrong. You should be holding the bar with your thumbs not around. It should be laying. You should be supinated, not pronated. Your degree of your angle on the bench should only be 35 degrees, not 55. But if everybody was screaming at you how to friggin' do that set, are you ever gonna ever go anywhere in bodybuilding?
No.
You find one person that is credited, or a few people that are credited in what they're doing and saying. And like you said, don't live through other people's brains. Do not be bashful to say, respectfully, I wouldn't go to a 170 average bowler for advice when I want to be 230. You don't know how to be 230. The same way I'm never going to take advice from somebody with noodle arms on how to get bigger triceps. It's not going to happen. And unfortunately, people just in the bowling alley, they're all right around you. Fortunately, in the gym, if you get the one or two guys that come up and want to give you their unsolicited advice, you can deal with it for the 5 minutes and then shake it off. It's tougher in the bowling alley. But treat it the same way. You're going in there with your purpose, with your idea, and this is to anybody. Your idea of what is correct, and hopefully you've gone about it the right way and found what is correct. And if not correct by the book, do it the correct way as best as you can. With what you got. So, Amanda, thank you again for being here, guys. Guys, I love you. And Rob, make sure you let everybody know about Daria next week and Rocio the week after.
Yes, sir. See you, Johnny.
See you guys later.
Rob from Pro, huh? Yeah. Like that.
Yes, we are. We got Daria Payok next week. It's going to be an hour later than normal because she actually practices when we go online. So, and we do have.
Well, when the fuck were you going to tell me?
Ouch! I tell you when you need to know, and you didn't need to know.
I need
I
to know,
need to know this stuff, man. I'm domesticated, man. What the? Dude, I give swimming lessons at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays
You might have to miss it then.
with
You
10
might have to
different
miss
women.
it. No, it literally just happened. Like literally emailing her. Well, while we were on
Man, it
screen.
could be the following week. I'm sorry, I'm booked up.
Yeah, no, it's literally.
No, I stink. I don't swim. That's me.
No,
too
it's true.
dense.
You are too dense. But yeah, Ro Restrepo will be on the 30th, and then I finally got a hold of Packy Hanrahan, and we're looking to get him on sometime in August. So
yeah.
Hey, real quick, let's. I think Refty should be on a shirt
should.
just so we don't offend agents too. Because
I thought about that actually.
They could get pissed off.
I
Like,
thought about making
you're
sure.
gonna see an Asian. And you're gonna be like, I'm a Refty, and they're gonna be like, fuck you.
Until you explained it, and I saw it on one of your posts today because somebody mentioned Refty, I literally I went to Asian. That's where my brain went to. I don't know. That's just.
No. The problem is anybody who saw Revenge of the Nerds knows all this stuff, and that's
Or a Christmas
our
story,
era.
right?
When he said Robster Craws and Frush, and so like, or Christmas Story with rah 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 rah.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
but if you put it on a T-shirt and define it, we're fine. Rob, get to the art department. I feel like we got a good thing going here. We got printers. And we got everybody. We'll hammer it out.
It'll be good times. Good times. Rob and I are already like talking about possible futuristic podcasting ideas for me.
I think you're a natural.
So I think that is in the mix. I'm also looking into. I want to write a book at some point, but I'm also looking into getting my coaching certifications. So
nice.
Yep. Just gonna climb the ladder and try to keep going. Because at the end of the day, we're not getting any younger. And so I want to try to do what I can to help the future generation. And my coach inspired me. And so I think coaching is in my future at some point. And I would love to coach the local high schoolers or local kids and try to help them. Because coaching is not just about, we're not just teaching them about the ball and how to hit the pins and how to score. There's so many things that you can be taught through bowling about life and choices.
A coach is a teacher. It's literally a teacher. Absolutely.
You are a teacher. And to be honest with you, I've always said this, but my son was my best teacher. When I thought I had everything figured out, he'd teach me something else about how to be a parent or how to be better at it. So I mean, the youth and bowling are the same way. And I saw somebody made a comment earlier about there's some these young kids act like they're divas when they walk in the bowling alley. I'm going to tell you right now, that is 100% back on the parents.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's all in the parents of like if they just hand them everything on a silver platter and the kids don't have to work for it, or if they go to the kid and make the kid think, obviously all of us parents want us to think our kid's the best in every sport, or that our kid has it all and our kid can do anything possible and they're the most amazing thing ever. But at some point in time, kids need to have a slice of humble pie.
Yes.
And so that is put back on the parents as to how the kids are perceived and how the kids carry themselves in a center, whether it's just for fun or professionally, or if they are really good, teach them to be a little bit of, have a little bit of humbleness, because that will carry on with them as an adult. So I feel bad that there's kids out there that act like that. I know they're everywhere. We have them here too, but we can only try to do our best as adults to teach them to be better. Because like I said, nobody's perfect. We're always trying to be better in everything that we do every day, whether it's sports, relationships, ourselves, parents. Sure Ocho knows because he's got a kid, and so hand across the face. But so I don't know. I'm just really I had a kind of a come to Jesus meeting with myself about bowling, and I'm not quite ready to hang the laces up yet. I think I still have some work to do with the bowling, and I still have things. I'm just going to be a little more conscientious of which tournaments I'm choosing to do. Last year, for instance, I did 60 tournaments in 4 months.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Not only is that a lot of time away from home, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of mental battle, and you're working a full-time job on top of that. Luckily, my job, I'm fortunate enough I work 4 days a week, long days. But I was giving everything I had, eat, breathing, sleeping, bowling outside of working. And it was very detrimental in various amount of ways in my personal life. So I'm kind of taking a step back and going to be very picky about what I'm choosing to bowl in, and be a little bit more assertive with, I'm not at that caliber. Why am I going to go into a scratch tournament when I know it's going to be this caliber of bowlers and I probably have no chance? And if I do to even make cashier's round, I'm going to be so far back behind in pin count that I'm going to be digging myself out of a 12-foot hole that's never going to happen just to say I got my money back, which is great. But that's where I was at last year. I just wanted to bowl anything and everything, as much exposure as I could, bowl on every single pattern that was out there, every single house with different types of topography. And it didn't really benefit me at the end of the day. It actually hurt me more than anything because I was not performing at a level of somebody that should be bowling that many tournaments. It was more of a, look what I'm doing, look at how many tournaments I can compete in, but look how much money I'm losing type of thing. So it gave me great exposure to different patterns and people. And I met so many amazing people, and I learned a lot about myself and a lot about bowling in general from other professionals, but it just is not sustainable long-term as a bowler. So I have a different set of goals, a different mindset, and that's kind of the direction I'm headed in, is less about me and more about others.
But again, that experience could, you say it was a detriment in that time, but that experience now can benefit you
for sure
in this venture. So it wasn't, you can't say it's a loss because that's how you're learning anyway. That's how we all learn.
It wasn't
I get what you're saying. I get what you weren't prepared, and you wanted to attack it, and you got the experience, and now you're like, holy shit, this sucks. Here's what I'm going to do. So it kind of shaped you. So that, would you have done that had you not bowled all those tournaments?
So it's just like I shared a post, I think it was yesterday, about there's two pains in life. There's the pain of discipline and the pain of regret, right? So we have the pain of discipline where you get up and you make stuff happen even if you don't want to or you don't have the energy. And then you have the pain of regret where it's like coulda, shoulda, woulda, would have happened if I would have. I don't regret anything that's happened in my life because at the time we make choices, we chose to make that choice at the time, not knowing what the outcome would be, not knowing like we might have long lasting effects that aren't necessarily great, but we chose it for a reason. So I don't regret any of my choices I've made. They've got me to where I'm at. The one thing I will say though, that's got me through is the amount of discipline. And I was very disciplined at that time. It's not that I'm not now, it's just in a different way. So yes, I agree with you. Like it wasn't totally detrimental. Personal life wise, it was detrimental. I lost a lot in those 6 months personally, whether it be relationship, friends, or just having a personal life outside of bowling. Time, yes. And so people don't realize, like, if you want to be really good and disciplined at something, it does take time. Like you have to practice. For these professionals that people watch, they just assume like, oh, they're just born that good. They're just naturally good. Well, some of them, but you don't see the amount of hours that they put in for practice, the amount of hours I put in for practice to try to get better at one thing. Like the one thing I wanted to be good at was counting 4 steps, count your 4 steps. And when you go back on 3, you're going out on 4. Like I practiced that for hours. And it's the same thing as I told you with EJ Tackett when I went to a seminar. He said he used to practice and put a quarter on a board. And he would hit that quarter hundreds, if not thousands of times, and until he knew he could be consistent at hitting that quarter. Like it takes, these guys are good for a reason. Yep. So when you think about life or bowling or whatever you're in your job, there's discipline and then there's regret. But honestly, what are we regretting? If you're going to pick the lesser of two evils, I would pick discipline because there's no reason to regret anything. You made the choice when you made it for a reason. So
especially when you could still move forward from it too. So that's what's going to dictate it.
Yeah. So
So wait, how come I never see any of these posts? Are you not following Ocho fans on Facebook? Is that what I'm?
You need to follow Amanda.
Think so. I
don't see any of these posts.
Well, I don't think we're friends on
Rob's probably playing barricades.
I don't think we're friends on Facebook, and I didn't know Ocho had a Ocho fan club page.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Gotcha, okay.
I'm literally inventing Ocho fans.
Awesome.
I think I got something.
Gotcha. Okay. So, anyways, I am very appreciative of you guys having me on the show. I hoped I helped. I told Rob if I did anything, I hope I inspired at least one person.
You did. I mean, our chat. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
I hope I did.
The chat was spectacular. You're gonna love it. Go back and watch it.
It's awesome to see. It's awesome to see like these professional bowlers or people that are renowned names in the bowling industry come on the show and talk, and it's great because you learn a lot about them, and you learn like they're just normal human beings like we are. They might be in the spotlight and be all over the media.
That's pretty much how it breaks down to every single time.
So for me to be on the show, I was absolutely floored, and I'm very humbled and honored to be a part of the show, because I was like, why me? I even messaged him. I'm like, why me? Nothing special. And then he's like, well, you have a story. And I do. I have a story, the comeback kids story. I'm very resilient and strong. And there's times where I think I'm not going to make it through something, and somehow I find a way and I make it through and I make it happen. And that's one thing that I just want to make very clear. Like I've been very open with it, especially in the last, I'd say 5 or 6 years, with my battle with anxiety and at times depression. But it is a very significant thing that people go through. I won't name names, but there was a gal I bowled with at Nationals last year, and we had a very in-depth conversation after Nationals. She did not bowl good, and she's a professional bowler and has been, and she struggled. And after last year, she tied up her laces and she's done. She retired. And that's what people don't realize, is that we too are humans, and we go through things mentally and emotionally and physically that can become so daunting that you never know if you're going to creep out of that hole and get yourself back. So I am I'm a very humble person, and I'm proud of that, but I'm also very proud of the amount of things that want to take that from me. So for the people that are listening, just don't ever tackle your self-worth or charge your self-worth to other people's thoughts of you. It's not worth your time. Like your self-worth is solely dependent on how you feel about yourself, not on what other people think at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, tomorrow could be gone in a flash, and everything could change tomorrow. I mean, I have friends on Facebook, their bowling centers in the last year, there's so many bowling centers that have closed.
Yeah.
Or bowling centers that are switching the string pins. So now we have the string pin controversy of like, I'm not going to bowl there if they get strings. Well, guess what? You said that. They got strings, and guess who's still bowling? You are.
Exactly.
There's always changes, and there's always progression in bowling. Everything's always changing. People have complained about urethane. They've complained about two-handed bowlers. They complained about taking out the weight holes. And now there's controversy of what if we put weight holes back in? And there's always something that's changing. So what might be affecting you today could be long gone next year, or even 6 months from now, or 6 weeks from now. So I don't know. I think I'm very happy I got to come on the show and kind of share a little bit about my story with you guys. Obviously, there's always more nooks and crannies to it, but I do have to give, in case they're watching, a huge shout out to my coach, Robert Harvey. He's out of Boise, Idaho. He's phenomenal. He is a fantastic bowler. He's a fantastic coach. He's one of the most patient people I've ever been around in my entire life, because I gave him hell a couple times. Very stubborn. And then Joe and Philly at Custom Thumbs Pro Shop out in Maple Lanes out in New York. I think it's Rockville. Anyways, they're hilarious. If you don't follow their page, Custom Thumbs Pro Shop, they're hilarious. They always they do ball raffles every day, except for on the weekends. And they're awesome people. And then I just want to also say thank you to my home center, Dennis and Michelle Seckel at Bolodrome. They've been very kind to me over the last year with going there and filming, and being able to film for hours on end and not charging me hundreds of dollars. to do so. And they've done a lot of upgrades to their bowling center. Yes, Rockville Center, that's what it is. So anyways, I just wanted to give a shout out to those people and then to you guys as well for having me on the show, because you guys have literally helped me with the way I look at bowling and helped with my knowledge about the sport. And just you guys bring such a variety to the show that it's nice to see different walks of life on the show, and it's not just always the seriousness of the pro bowlers that have a name for themselves. So keep doing what you're doing. You're making a difference.
Well, we appreciate that, and we always try to be different than the rest of the shows, right? I mean, like,
I take things super seriously
Yeah, I
all
mean,
the time. That's just
even the pros that have come on and said, "Man, I totally didn't know what to expect. Come on the show, if they haven't seen it before." And as soon as we just do our thing, they settle, they get in the pocket, pun intended, and they just let go. And we try to make,
which is what you said before, Amanda. You were like, you find out there's such regular guys, and I almost feel like, after about 5 or 10 minutes, it peels off the facade, and they realize, okay, I am just talking to a couple jabronis, and let's just have a fun conversation.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you, out of all the pro bowlers I've met, EJ Tackett obviously is my favorite. But I met Marshall Kent 2 years ago at Open Championships, and it's Marshall Kent. I mean, come on. But he was the reason I bought the track Archetype, and the reason I switched over to Brunswick. That was the very first fall. I bowled a tournament up in Ronan, Montana, and it was my first step ladder I ever made in a ladies tournament. It's like 9 hours from where I live, and it was the track Archetype the entire weekend. And I made sure I told Marshall that, and he's my idol. And in the male side of the sport for bowling, Marshall Kent is where it's at for me. He's very humble, down to earth, and he's very knowledgeable, but he's also very personable. So I really respect him.
Wow, wasn't it Marshall that said the 200 plus dump?
Yeah.
So okay, so there we go.
Yeah.
See?
You guys need to have him on the show again. He's awesome.
We do need to bring him on.
We've had him on twice, I think, already, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, you've had him on twice.
I think it was twice. Yeah, no, he was it was, and that's the part about. And again, I get it. It's amateurish or childish, but it's like this is a reality thing, though. That's like this is something that an 8 o'clock squad, an 8 a.m. squad has to deal with. So, and of course, I have no shame. I want to find out about it. And he was you wait, Amanda, you verified that he was the one that said that? I asked Rob, and you said yes.
I'm pretty sure that was him.
That was him.
I got a trapdoor memory. I'm gonna guarantee it. I'm gonna guarantee it.
100 on black.
I'm gonna guarantee it. Yep. I'm gonna guarantee it because I can see it clear as day. Where I had to mention it, and he was like, "Oh, that's a legit thing." And he said, "I'd come out. Oh, that's a plus 200." I'm sorry for being so lowbrow, people. This is what we do here. We talk.
I think it's
after hours.
And that was him. That was him, 100%. Because I'm the one that still has to ask, and they go, "Oh no, Ocho got to ask this question." But listen, I'm not regulated by 8 a.m. I need a few hours still, so I get it.
Oh.
And I'm up early.
Anyways,
so anyway, this is what we get with the realism. Like you said, they're just regular people.
Yep. Ocho has to ask every pro what kind of dump he takes and how to fix their squad.
No, you're wrong. What I say is it's an 8 a.m. squad. You can only get up so early to have your coffee or breakfast. You're not going to – first of all, you have to eat properly too because you're about to bowl 8 games. You're not going to – if you eat too late, now your blood is digesting. So, you're going to fade out in game 2. So you got to eat before, let yourself digest. Your blood flows normal now after about an hour. And no, you can go in the pool after you eat. That's another freaking wise tale. Shut up, people, with your cramping. That's bullshit.
Throw in the fact that everyone should be stretching before they bowl.
Exactly. So now it's an 8 a.m. squad. You got to fuel. It's not food. This is fuel at this point. You're about to bowl for 4 hours, 5 hours. So then you got to get your body limber. So then what happens? Just saying.
Yeah, we know. You're the boss.
So that's a legit thing. We just see them on television. They just showed up on Sunday at freaking 6 o'clock. Oh, they're on my TV. I didn't know the guy had explosiveness on freaking Thursday on his 8 a.m. squad. And good for him, because now he's light on his feet.
Oh, man. Okay.
On that note, it is time to wrap it up. Amanda, thank you for coming on. And it was truly an honor to have you on the show because I said it before, you are a person that inspires me by your posts on Facebook and seeing everything that you've gone through, all the turmoil, all the adversity, and you still keep pushing. There's a quote from Diamond Dallas Page, who I'm proud to be friends with. He's a former WWE wrestler, WCW wrestler. Created a yoga program called DDP Yoga, which helped save my life. And you mentioned 10% earlier. There's a spinoff of that for him. He said, life is 90% of what happens to you and 10% of how you react to it. And that's something I try to live by. So you can only control yourself. You can't control others, just like you can't control what people think about you or people say about you. You can only control your reaction to it. We don't always have the best reaction, obviously. But you know, another thing he says is it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up, which is also a Rocky quote too, I think, right? So.
Yeah, I'm sure Rocky came over to me.
That's right. So those are two things that I try to live by, but I love watching your posts over the last couple of years, whether it be from the gym or just posting a long post. You're very well-spoken, you're very articulate, and you're very passionate about what you believe. And, you know, like Kristen says, it's been awesome. It's been a great conversation. Our chat really enjoyed it, and we enjoyed it as well. So, and I think you do have a future. Like, again, you're pretty good at this. We'll have to chat about that because you have a lot more that you need to tell. And I think you'll reach a lot of people because, like I said to you, we have a lot of women that watch this show. And we don't have a lot of women on the show, and it's good to have somebody else. Ocho identifies as a woman.
Come on, why are they here?
It's good to have somebody like you on the show that's been through it, and others, you know, that have been through similar stuff can see, well, if she can get through it, so can I. So that was the major reason why I wanted to have you on, because of how awesome you are. Just that's it. So we appreciate you coming on.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me. So you guys have a good night.
You too, and we'll definitely stay in touch because I think we got a good project that we could do. So
see you on Ocho fans.
I will get on that. Okay.
Thank you, Amanda. We appreciate you.
Guys, we'll see you next time.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye.
See, Ouch, you never knew what you're going to get out of this show until you get into it. Johnny said the same thing. I think old Rad Rob might know a thing or two about a thing or two. So
yeah, food.
That's fair. That's a point for you. That's
okay. There can be only one.
There can be only one. You still need to go back and listen to our old shows. You think it's stupid?
Bullshit. It was awful. It was so
but
bad.
That's what's so funny about it. Is so, guys, check out the show that Oach and I did for a couple of years called RTW Main Event.
If it was a freaking 20-minute show, it'd be funny. We did it for
like an hour and a half, but
awful.
Yeah.
Because why don't you cut and paste at least the funny parts? Like, so there's that, or whenever there was an innuendo, and coming up on the next episode, it's what's his name? Mark's mom.
Mark's.
Now we're already doing insider shit. Now this is terrible.
Oh, you saw that one, eh?
Yeah, you saw that one, eh?
Onlyfans.com/Mark's mom. I mean, that should never come home.
Okay, listen. This is how bad it was. Rob was pretending to podcast from a shark's gut.
Yep. No, a whale. It was a whale.
A whale's. Oh, and then what was? Wasn't there a war where you had to?
There's a war in El Barbo.
And I made this whole shit up too.
Maximo Island. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Maximo Island.
We had a bunch of friends that came on, and I started as a wrestling show, and then
it's
wrestling sucked.
Rob, it's only funny because it's us. It's awful.
True.
I promise you.
It was pretty bad, but I started a wrestling podcast, and since wrestling started to suck, and the pandemic kind of burnt me out on all that, I said, "Oh, you want to do a show?" He's like, "Okay." And we literally just did whatever we did to make each other laugh. Like the whole show was just a pop
It was a
each other.
stupid riff about just freaking.
We wouldn't really plan
getting
anything
freaking
except for
belly
like
laugh at
this fake top 5 competition we had. But I had an intro for it and everything.
So, but that started with your real top 5 with the cereals.
It did.
Though, right?
The first
like,
thing
wasn't
you and I ever
when
did was top 5 cereal.
You called
on the
you
fly.
hit a good audible.
Yeah.
That was a great audible. You nailed it on that one. And then we
bantered for the next 2 hours.
We cut it off, and you were like, "Man, that was kind of funny." I was like, "Yeah, we did some dumb shit that like we would both crack up about." But it was and it was like, dude, top 5 cereals. That's a legit thing.
Yeah.
So and then it extrapolated in a bad way.
We brought in friends that pretended to be different. There's another mask guy
one guy was 15 people for.
He literally played like 6 different characters, but he was a genius. He came up with some really good shit.
He wasn't
He was a genius.
He was just a funny guy.
He was a funny guy.
He was a funny
Bobo,
guy.
president of the Ochoites.
Yes, that's right. I gotta ask him if he's still. And I forgot his name. How stupid
Bobo,
is that?
Robert.
All right, sorry, folks. We're literally having a conversation as if we're offline right now. Rob, end the show. Thank you, Amanda. That was
a great show.
See you, Ocho fans.
Anyway, check out RTW main event. I'm serious. Just listen to me and Och. There's some other stuff on there too. There's some
go to the middle because like it's bad. They're 2-hour shows that have like 20 minutes of funny in it.
It's so bad.
But the 20 minutes is very funny. I just don't know where they're at. So Rob should splice them. It's like me doing the ending on the Vince Russo show. Shit, that's what I gotta do. Remember all the endings I used to do on Russo's show with the song?
Yep. Live action performances.
I used to get so I had Amanda more anxiety on those nights because I'm like, I got nothing. I remember drawing disco as a poop.
Yep.
I remember playing like Wheel of Fortune.
You set up pins in your basement. You bowled.
I threw the bowling ball into a pin.
You went outside and got like snowballs and shit too. You're throwing
in the snow. Yes, I wrote this show sucks in the snow.
You like drew something on your stomach in the chest.
And I had to do it in the time of so like, and then I did the thing. You remember the Johnny's in the basement thinking about the government, and if the video where they're throwing the cue cards or even the NXS song. So I tried to do that with Vince's song, and it's like he said the number 7, and I had a picture of 7 through it, and then it said punks on crack, and I put up a butt crack or something.
You even had Mrs. Ocho dressed up in a cow suit.
Oh, the cow suit. Oh, and wasn't Quarantine Lady in there with that? Then there was Quarantine Lady and Ocho wearing same masks.
Oh yeah, I'll never unsee that.
He put lipstick on, and he was like creeped out about it.
Yeah, well,
and then when he took all this, when I cut off the ears on the mannequin, he goes, "Ocho, I gotta pull this video down now." I still have the mannequin with no ears. My daughter plays with it.
If anybody wants to ever see that hilarity too, it's what the hell's the name of the show? Bromance with Vince Russo, who's a former WWE writer, and Ocho.
And Ocho on YouTube. It's funny. It's silly. The guy's freaking had the highest ratings in wrestling history, and he's doing a podcast. Luckily,
with some
for him,
schmucko from Ochoville. Yeah.
This guy, and that was his choice.
It was. No, he literally loved doing that show with you.
He goes. That was when I called into his show in character. And I hang up, and he FaceTimes me back afterwards. He's like, "Bro, that was the," and I'm still in. He's like, "Leave the mask on."
I thought you were great, dude. That's what got me to want to do stuff with you, watching you with him.
You gotta wear the hood. He said, "To this day, please never show your face." And I said, "You're right. You don't want to see it." Anyway,
I just got a. I just got a. Slurpee.
Was this a bowling podcast?
It is. I just got a Slurpee. Thanks, honey.
Are you having a Slurpee?
What flavor is that? It's green. I don't know. Green.
What happened to the diet, Rob? You're doing
dude. We gotta have a cheat thing every.
A cheat. I've had a cheat 3 years, Rob.
Ever since the pandemic, honestly.
I get it. I'm talk about blessed. The fact that I still have these.
That's true.
I'm a lucky SOB because I do.
We still have 11 people here. I can't believe not everyone is left. So I mean, there's still people.
Why don't you guys? We're done with the show. Just fucking leave.
This is literally what Ocho and I would do for like 2 hours. We would just riff and
no.
I mean, we actually had some kind of a subject.
Like we would say, like, okay, let's talk about this, or we talk about commercials and that's how when we did the best part of waking up, that literally led into my saying the South Park song, which was our theme for a year and a half.
In fact, I don't think I have it on my board anymore.
You don't have it?
Your life's been
out of control. Oh my God, I can't remember it. And then Johnny was on that show and literally said it verbatim.
That's the first I do the whole night. Can you believe that?
Oh, so that's another one. Shit. Okay, Rob, you have to put this out somewhere. Put it on the Facebook page. How should we spell I do?
Yeah, I still have to do that.
I'm convinced it should be DEW for do. I'm okay with that. I feel like there's we got to come up with a variation. So this way, we want uniformity here. At
we can't do Canadian like A.
We
can't do EH. So
much like much like Amanda's form, she wants uniformity. She wants to be consistent. We cannot have different versions of adu.
It's true. I will definitely get on that.
Are we agreed that DEW should
absolutely
be
no, yeah, that's a no-brainer.
So we're good with that. So we just need
I do.
You guys visualize that. Visualize.
Okay, that AHE. No. Shit. We're gonna have a listen, guys, go to Straight Up 5 on Facebook and let us know. Rob, put out a post and say how should we spell the I in
I'll put the clip in there so people can have a reference.
And then put it in and say write it as you hear it.
Like
sound it out as they say.
Got it. Ocho, appreciate you, bud. It was a good show. No, it really was a good show.
Fuck off. You have no neck.
I don't have a neck, but again, I never had a neck. Do we have to go back to this? Hold on, where's my picture? Nope, that's not it.
Wherever podcasts are
there
found.
You go. No neck. Zero neck.
Jesus
anyway,
Christ.
Guys, leave us a 5-star review on Apple iTunes. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Straight Up 5 Podcasts. Follow Ocho, the Dr Ocho on X. Follow me at Rad Rob Gaming. Johnny is at JPJR07. Follow the show on all Instagram, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, FaceSpace, MySpace.
His space, everybody's
And next week we will have Daria Payok, PWBA superstar, and a special start time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Pacific. We will have Daria Payok on the show. Ro Restrepo will be the week after, and then hopefully Packy Hanrahan will be the week after that. But until then, guys, we appreciate Amanda Moore again for coming on, and we hope you guys enjoyed this show. We will see you next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook and YouTube. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at Straight Up 5 Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to straightup5podcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Right here on the Rad Rob Radio Network.